are treated like a toy. Ideas are misunderstood, but brilliance is his ploy. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Talking about 0 points and points lost on them. Capital structures crumbling from the same old Sam. They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor, unheard, injustice burning ears.
All right. Welcome, and welcome back to the Red Pill series. I'm your host, the Benefactor, where I dissect the forbidden knowledge they don't want you to know. Tonight we talk about the U.S. food crisis. So, remember when you could go out to eat and spend maybe $10 and actually get a meal that filled you up? Now you spend $20, and what you get tastes more like a frozen microwaved dinner wrapped in nostalgia. Welcome to late-stage capitalism's buffet. It has an all-you-can-pay, but never quite enough to eat. Here's the thing, though. Every quarter, every business, every capitalist business, that is, promises their investors growth. Not survival, not sustainability, but growth. Infinite, unstoppable growth in a finite world. So what happens when the cost of ingredients, labor, and energy can't magically go down any further? Simple. You raise the price, shrink the portion, and hope nobody notices. And that's what I like to call profit through subtraction, or what's more commonly referred to as shrinkflation. You pay more, get less, and somehow they call it innovation. And it's everywhere now. Restaurants no longer make food from scratch. It's all frozen, prepackaged, and shipped from the same handful of monopolies: Cisco, US Foods, whoever controls the supply. Your local diner is now a satellite of corporate food services. Real cooks, real food, real quality is gone. All that's left is beige mush reheated in a microwave and sold to a worker barely making enough to live on. And you can see it in the empty tables of once booming restaurant industries. The quiet dining room, the servers scrambling for tips to customers who can't afford them. And not just food that's it's not just food that's disappearing from your plate. It's the faith that working hard will get you a decent meal, a roof over your head, and a life that you can actually count on. That faith is collapsing, not because people are lazy, not because socialism is to blame, but because the class running the system, the corporate class, can't stop raising prices for profit, all while pretending the system is still working for everyone instead of what it's actually doing, benefiting a handful of capitalists at the top of society. So from a Marxist perspective here, the contradictions are crystal clear. Prices rise, wages stay stagnant, quality drops. Eventually, the people can't buy what's being sold to them. The system depends on maximizing the gap between your labor input and your wage. But there's a breaking point here. Once workers can't afford to actually buy the products they're producing, the whole game of capitalism collapses in on itself. Instead of seeing the logic of this failure, capitalism pretends it's just inflation. No, because inflation implies a balance. What we have now is imbalance, wealth pumping upward like a broken soda machine that only fills the CEO's cup. So here's the sad truth. The cost of food is doubling while wages remain flat. Quality is falling while convenience doesn't improve at all. Empty restaurants, overpriced menus. None of this is an accident, by the way. It's the system eating itself. Capitalism can't innovate its way out of exploiting the very people it depends on. The one ingredient it refuses to value is you. They told us that a $15 minimum wage would make your McDonald's burger $10. Well, those Republicans who fed you that lie are being proven wrong in this dystopian economy. Because here we are. The burgers cost $10 now, and wages are still going nowhere. The people are expected to buy what they cannot afford. It's true that raising wages would have tamed these prices, in fact, because when you raise the wage of local economies, you increase the amount of wealth that the local economy and those working class people have to spend in that local economy, thus providing more stimulation to the local economy. At least for a time. It would make life a tiny bit easier, balance the scales, and maybe slow the rate of inflation. But instead, the business owner class has kept our pay low, forcing us to stretch what little we have while the cost of living climbs higher and higher, all under the watch of a greedy proto-fascist dictator in office who greases the palms of every capitalist willing to lick his boot. These are the worst of the worst, mind you, the capitalists who lack enough integrity to be boot-licking sycophants for the newly fascist United Corporations of America. It's a simple truth hiding in plain sight. The system pretends to help, but every handout, every promise, every clever solution, it all circles back to profit. The burger is $10, but the bite you take tastes like the struggle of 1,000 uncounted meals. And as we chew through this illusion, we begin to see the pattern, the rhythm, the dialectic playing out. The game is rigged. The meal is overpriced. And in the next chapter, I will show you how, why, and what comes after the table is cleared. We're going to watch a quick video by, I believe her name is Shadi Shads. I could be wrong. We're going to watch a couple of minutes of this video just to give you an example of what customers, consumers, are dealing with regarding not just overinflated prices for basic fast food meals, but a clear dystopian degradation in quality of food that borders on the insanity.
And this is supposed to be a filet mignon. What the is this?
What possible ingredients is in that sandwich to make it $22?
You about to eat a Lunchable for $40.
I've never seen Denny's so empty.
You paid for catering and you get chicken meatballs from a box.
This bowl of pasta right here and this drink cost me $52.95.
Quality is down. Everything is down. Prices are up. People are aggravated. People are sick of it.
We're paying record high prices at restaurants right now, but somehow the food is getting worse and the quality is slipping. So is it a surprise to anyone that some restaurants are becoming empty? Here's what I think a lot of people are thinking. We're broke, the food we're getting is mid, and sometime when you go to the restaurant, the service is bad. Let's hear from some TikToks about why some other people think the restaurant industry isn't performing as well as it used to.
The reason restaurants are struggling is because they're expensive and people don't have money. But there is a more specific thing happening. It's not that nobody has money. I mean, there are rich people. The problem is that rich people can only be in one place at a time. They only eat dinner once a night.
And that's the problem when you have the bulk of wealth funneled to a minority of the population. A minority can afford the goods and services, but the majority, more and more, cannot afford what they're producing, right? So you see more and more people struggling to even pay for basic necessities. They don't have the luxury of going out to eat. So more and more these capitalist organized businesses and their organizations predicated on unlimited infinite growth already is failing. It's collapsing in on itself. It's eating itself, right? Because when you become too successful as a capitalist, your business fails because your workers don't make enough to buy what you're actually producing. And you multiply this across multiple industries and you can see where the critical point of failure rests. It rests in your wage because let's face the facts. Where do most people get their wealth? How do most people accumulate wealth? Think about that for a minute. How do the majority of workers accumulate their wealth? Statistically, most wealth in this country is inherited, but that's only a minority, a small portion of the population. When we're talking about the working class people, how do working class people get the majority of their wealth? Well, they get it through their wage. And if we don't, if we distribute that wage fairly in the first place, we don't have to worry about the government stepping in and redistributing it with social safety nets. If we fix the problem at the root, the organization of labor and the lack of democracy within the workplace, then you see where this problem can easily be solved.
People have $100,000, that's going to be 10 dinners. But if one person has $1 million, that's going to be one dinner. They might spend a little bit more, but it's going to be at one place. My point is that when money gets concentrated at the top, you end up with less customers. And a healthy economy doesn't just need money, it needs volume. The money.
Exactly. And if you've watched my episode 2 of The Social Situation, we talk about how a healthy economy is predicated on money, wealth, transferred from one hand to the next as fast as possible, right? And that doesn't mean there's not a certain level of tolerance when it comes to saving or hoarding wealth. Saving wealth, but when it comes to hoarding wealth, especially hoarding it outside the ability for the government to tax it and use it within its own local economy, then you're talking about money that's pulled away from the health of that economy. You're kind of like just acting as a vampire at that point. Because when wealth is transferred from one hand to the next, it acts like the oxygen through a circulatory system, right? It's blood pumping through the body of the country. And when the blood is all pooled in one area, it doesn't serve the rest of the organs, does it?
Has to circulate for the economy to grow.
And he actually had a lot of good points. And in the comments, it says, the food is not good enough for the price. Another says, not trying to spend $20 plus on a mid-burger.
And that's the thing. Like, at one point, if you had some extra money, maybe you would feel comfortable spending, maybe $18 on a good burger or a meal, right? But if it's just half-assed frozen shit from Cisco that's just warmed up or terrible quality, then no, you can go fuck yourself. We're not paying that shit.
About rent. One saying rent is too high for us to eat, and another one that says my money goes to rent mainly.
Yeah, I'm at Longhorn.
They ain't gotta worry about shit.
And this is supposed to be a filet mignon.
Dude, that looks like it was 3D printed. What the fuck? I would not eat that. That looks disgusting. For $35? Holy shit. By the way, I just paid $5 for 2 hours of parking. That's ridiculous. Everything is ridiculous right now. So if you're struggling financially and you're working your ass off, do not feel bad. Do not fall into the Republican trap of, oh, you just need to work harder. You're not working hard enough. No, fuck that bullshit. There's no amount of nickel and diming your way out of this dystopian Great Depression that we're in. We're in a new age Great Depression, okay? Our money just doesn't go far enough. We don't make enough. 80% of the country is living paycheck to paycheck. How the fuck are we going to nickel and dime our way to success?
Jada, help me out.
Honestly, it looked a little rubber. $35 for that? I agree. That's crazy. I gotta go to the comments. The disrespect. Ooh, she said this was Longhorns. Oh my. Oh my gosh. They're getting ate up in the comments.
That's supposed to be a good chain.
Texas Roadhouse would never. What is going on, Longhorns?
Yeah,
This how y'all
what the
coming?
fuck?
They said, what is a filet mignon? What is going on here? Somebody here said they thought it was a pork chop, and it looks like a Salisbury steak. Okay, this is why a lot of people don't want to go to restaurants. This is just a good example. You go to a restaurant, you're paying your hard-earned money, right? How many of y'all make $35 an hour? So you just paid $35 for this steak, and you're hoping that it's good.
Exactly. If you're making even $17, $18 an hour, you're paying more for this steak than you would make working your ass off for an entire hour. Think about that. Would you work your ass off at work for an hour just to be able to pay for this 3D printed looking steak? If you could even call it that. Ugh.
y'all coming with? This is why a lot of people stay at the house. Not only are you going for the food, you're going for the restaurant experience. And I just feel like somebody in the back must have looked at this and been like, we know it ain't right, but we gonna do it anyway. This actually does look like...
Well, yeah, there's another piece of the puzzle you're not seeing, and it's the growing disdain and resentment that workers have because they're not being paid enough. They're working their fucking ass off. They're not being able to pay their bills on one full-time job. They have to work 2, maybe 3 in the gig economy. And they're work, all work. No time for any relaxation or work-life balance. They're going fucking nuts. They have no patience anymore to pretend that they enjoy what they're doing, right? They know what they're selling is shit. But they do it anyways because they have to pay the bills. This is capitalism's trick. It pits working class people against each other, right? But when say 3-4% of the population has nothing left to lose and they all unify, it don't matter if you're on the fucking left or right. A worker is a fucking worker. Unless you own capital, you're not a capitalist. You're just a worker, okay? So you better get with the fucking times. If you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a fucking Democrat. I don't fucking care if you're a social libertarian like I am. Okay? If you're a fucking worker, you're on the same goddamn team. Because at the end of the day, the business class owns the fucking country. They run the country. They make the rules. They set up the rules that you run your life by. And if you're willing to kill yourself over those immoral rules, there's got to be a breaking point where people say enough is enough.
And now I can't unsee it. And I'm curious if it actually tastes good. I'll be fair, sometimes looks can be deceiving. But here's another one. A couple at a restaurant getting an appetizer.
We went out to eat.
Hey, what's up, Daniel? Daniel says, ramen noodle diet. Yeah, I've been there, bro. Eating ramen noodles every day of the week because you can't afford anything else. You go to the dollar store, you can get, 5 packs of ramen noodles for $1. And even the dollar store is raising its prices. Dollar Tree, by my apartment, used to have only dollar items, right? Then they raised all the dollar items to $1.25. That means every 4 items you get, you pay an extra $1. And now it's like a Dollar General. You can't even call it a Dollar Tree anymore because they've got $4 and $5 items now. What the fuck is going on here? What's going on, Taryn? Daniel says, I'm in a hostage crisis. No access to food, 3 weeks. No access to my money for 3 months. Holy shit. My condolences. We will pray for your access to food and your finances because that's unacceptable. We need that shit to survive. Human beings need stuff to survive. They need water. They need food. They need shelter. And if a government isn't there to provide those things for people who can't be provided to them from the economy, then what the fuck is the point of the government, right? If the government's not there to take care of those who can't take care of themselves and provide a standard of living for everybody across the board, no matter if they can work hard or not, what the fuck is the point of paying all these taxes and having all these public services? At the end of the day, if you organize labor where a small minority are in the control of the means of production and they're going to get all the wealth, the surplus value, and they get to decide how to appropriate that, and they decide to appropriate it unfairly to the working class, then you're going to wind up with a situation where the economy doesn't work for you. It works for the ruling class. It's as simple as that.
So that's like an app. They forgot the tizer, the rest of it. Like, what is that?
Yeah, look at this.
This is what they call the $7 taco.
$7 taco.
No.
The lime is bigger.
You can literally pinch it. It's the size of a lemon.
Unacceptable.
Half a lemon.
Definite ripoff.
This is shrinkflation stretched to its maximum degree. I mean, there's only so much you can shrink products before people are going to be like, it's not worth it, You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much, what do they call it? Slack fill, you know, in potato chips. You buy a bag of potato chips, it's a pretty big fucking bag, right? But when you open it up, what is it? It's mostly air. Why the fuck are they putting air in a bag they're trying to keep from expiring anyways? It's slack fill. They put that, it's called slack fill, to make it seem like you're getting a lot more for your money. A dirty fucking trick. And you know what I believe? I really believe that if we had an economy where most of the businesses were organized with democracy, where the workers actually got together and made those key decisions together, we would see less of those instances. We would see less of these instances where companies are trying to pull a fast one over on us. Because at the end of the day, those companies are organized and run democratically. They're not going to be predicated and run successfully by funneling wealth to one person or a minority within that business. It's going to be run successfully by satisfying customer satisfaction, right? Making good products, providing a good service, making sure you provide that good or service to the community that community that needs it. Right? That's what businesses are there for. They're not there just to make a profit. I mean, yeah, it's important to make profit and to accumulate wealth for individuals so they can spend it in the economy and so on and so forth and circulate it. But it's also important. It's vital even. I would say it's the main priority of every business to focus on providing the good or service that their business provides. You want to provide the top quality product or the best service for the community that you're serving. Remember, you're serving a need, right? You're providing a need within that economy. It's not just there to make profit for some asshole who wants to buy all these, you know, mansions and yachts. No, it's there to provide a means to provide a service or product for a community and to accumulate wealth for individuals who will then, in turn, reinvest it in the economy and so on and so forth.
Size of a quarter of a lemon. You know, like the little lemon slices that they give you? Y'all see this? I don't know if they got the lights dim so you really don't notice it or you don't care too much. I know what y'all are up to. I might actually say that lemon or the lime was large.
Oh, they for sure dim the lights just to make sure people don't notice stuff like that. That's a classic tactic that goes on from, you know, all types of businesses, from restaurants to office settings. You'll see in office settings, in different places, they'll actually play specific music to calm you down so you don't think about how much you're getting fucked over lack of wage or lack of benefits compared to other people within the industries, say, right? These are things that are specifically used like psychological warfare. Let's face it, it is psychological warfare against the working class. They're used to trick you, to make you docile, to turn you away from the real contradiction of the capitalist economic system we live in, which is the contradiction that the system cannot sustain itself the way it's organized, right? When you have a system that's predicated on maximizing the difference between labor input and wage, well, you inevitably, we just discussed this, you inevitably rise to a point where the workers are not getting enough wage to buy the goods and services they themselves are producing. You fucked yourself as a capitalist if you're successful. And this is the main contradiction that Karl Marx saw 100 years ago, and nobody is talking about it in the mainstream circles. All the mainstream Keynesian economists who are pro-capitalist or capitalist with a flavor of government intervention, they don't see it, or they don't want to see it. But every economic system, and this is patterns, always goes back to patterns, right? Every economic system on the face of this planet that has an internal contradiction eventually imploded and succumbed to that internal contradiction because it was not resolved. In slavery, this led to revolts. In feudalism, this led to the revolution. What do you think is going to fucking happen in capitalism? We're not gonna sit there and talk nice to the aristocracy like they did in like they didn't do in the French Revolution. No, what the fuck did they do in the French Revolution? They beheaded the aristocracy. Not just the kings and the monarchy, but the people who were wealthy because of the kings and helped the system of wealth discrepancy that helped exploit the working class of the feudalist economy. That's the resentment that builds. You build that resentment, and that resentment is building and building, and like a fucking cork, it will pop. And the Trump administration enacting essentially a tariff war, rising the cost of living exponentially, faster than it would have under any, liberal president. It's not helping things. It's doubling down. It's making the collapse happen faster. It's exacerbating the situation.
Like, if she was to put the people
trying to figure out what I was going to eat for lunch, and I was like, I like to go plate lunch. Kind of expensive already, plate lunches. So I'm like, okay, let me go Subway. 22 for a foot long. When did
Jesus
that
Christ
happen? When did that happen? Remember the $5?
Now, granted, this does vary by state. For instance, in my state, Michigan, you'll get roughly around $12 for a foot long. This is probably a higher price foot long, but still, $22 for a foot long is something we have never seen before. And to be fair, if we had a decent rise in wages that kept up with inflation over the last 50 years, that $22 probably wouldn't be that much to most people. But we don't, and we didn't. And that $22 is literally like what most people have left. Not even what some people have left after they paid all their bills at the end of the month. Like, we're talking people who are living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of the country.
I don't even care. It don't even need to be $5. $1 foot long at this point. What possible ingredients is in that sandwich to make it $22? That'd be the best age.
It's a combination of things. It's not just the cost of ingredients, though. It's the fact that we have companies that want to squeeze profit every quarter, right? It goes back to they're not trying to provide a good service, right? They're not trying to provide cheap footlongs. They could still make a profit and provide cheap footlongs for this impoverished community over here. They're trying to squeeze more profit this quarter than they did last quarter to satisfy their shareholders. That's a major problem, because now you're in a situation where people have very little amount of money to spend to begin with, and you're in a situation as a business owner, you have to increase your profit somehow. And the only way to do that, you don't want to increase, you don't want to decrease, you can't decrease wages. People will stop working for you, right? Your only solution is to push that on the consumer and raise the prices to keep up with the cost of groceries, the cost of food, cost of living.
Wagyu ham. Yo, we cook, guys. We cook, burnt and twice baked.
Now, from what I'm seeing above, it is $22 for a foot long, but it also says that he might be in Hawaii, according to this.
Yeah, see, that's probably in certain states like California, Hawaii. They're very expensive.
More.
Long.
There was something about chicken I
is
wanted
bad.
to see.
$11. A spicy can differ from IHOP to IHOP, but I need to know, based off of what I just.
Oh yeah, the empty IHOPs. Remember when you would go into IHOP on a weekend, on a Saturday morning, and it would just be packed? You would have to wait. They're fucking empty now, bro. Like, seriously, and I've even checked mine. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of these higher, or once booming chains are now basically empty.
Expensive. I know that many of you would not go to IHOP with just one person. Might be you, your spouse, and your 2 kids. That can add up, and I can understand why a lot of people are saying, hey, that's a little expensive. And that was before the tip and no drink.
IHOP is struggling, and I promise you the way to fix it is not adding Atlantic salmon to the menu.
Oh my God, that's the worst. And that's something like one of those CEO executive types or marketing types would make that kind of decision. Oh, we just need to diversify our menu. We need to broaden. We need to pull in more diverse customers. No, you need to lower your fucking prices and pay your workers more. If you paid your workers more, those workers would have more money to spend on fucking food. It's that goddamn fucking simple. I mean, I can't make it any more simpler than that. If you pay your workers more, they have more money to buy your stupid shit. like fuck you if you don't get it. If you don't get it, then you don't deserve to be a business owner, bitch.
Here's what I would do instead.
Now, who
Jesus
thought about
Christ.
that? This was posted 4 days ago. IHOP, we don't know you for no salmon. We know you for breakfast. Hello?
Exactly.
Where are the syrup?
Exactly. They're not the International House of Fish. They're the International House of Pancakes, for God's sake.
Where are the fancy waffles? Where are the pancakes with all?
But this just shows you these really weird decisions that these corporations are making now. They're out of desperation. They're out of desperation because they don't know what to do. I tell you what to do. Okay? You sell your company to the workers so that they can form a worker cooperative and stop all this fucking bullshit right now. They will eliminate that waste right there on the spot. Most of that waste is coming from gross, overinflated bonuses for the CEO. So, under no circumstance would a group of workers get together and collectively vote to give a disproportionate amount of the surplus value that they've all created to one person, while the other people have to, rely on food stamps to pay for their food. It would never fucking happen, bitch. But it happens every fucking day because of the way we organize labor as an authoritarian hierarchy of power instead of a democratic system.
All the fruits and stuff in it. I'm even a fan of, what are they called? Like little crepes? The fancy stuff.
Yes.
Brioche, French toast with the banana foster, all of that.
Yes.
I remember when they discontinued that. That was one of my favorite things on the menu. Who told y'all we wanted Atlantic salmon? As a collective, I'm on the behalf of the people.
And a lot of those higher end items from those restaurants, a lot of them were handmade. But that's labor, right? That's a lot of labor. You have to pay your workers more to do that kind of labor, or they're going to demand more, right? They're not going to do all that fucking shit for nothing. Or maybe they will. I mean, we have a whole Gen Z who doesn't know what a successful economy looks like. For God's sake, I feel really bad for Gen Z because they have no example of what a functioning economy looks like. All they've seen is dystopia. That's all they know. It's normalized to them. So they have no nostalgia of a better time to fuel them to push back and revolt. Again, when I talk about revolution, I always talk about peaceful revolution, not condoning violence. But revolution is inevitable if you ignore those internal contradictions, which so far, pretty much everybody who has the ability to solve the contradictions is ignoring them.
Thomas is saying, bring back the flavored syrup. Do some breakfast bowls. Because
holy shit, that's right. They used to have flavored syrup. Remember when you go to IHOP and they had like the little rack of different flavored syrup, like blueberry, strawberry. Oh, strawberry was my favorite. They don't fucking have those no more. They cut everything, all the luxuries of their restaurant experience for the average consumer.
a salmon at IHOP is a crime. Then they took more shots at y'all saying the food is bad and the prices are outrageous. Let's see what else this man is saying.
If you cut all those details, you would expect the price to be cut too. But no, the price increased. The quality and convenience went down and the price went up. That's another contradiction. You see the pattern? The contradictions that stack up?
First, we launch a series of Chipotle-style fast casual restaurants where you can customize a breakfast burrito or a breakfast bowl and then choose all your toppings. Second thing I would do, I would make a big push into pancake mix. Our brand is synonymous with pancakes. It's literally insane that we don't sell a pancake mix. Third, we go back to 24-hour service, obviously. Finally, It doesn't matter how you do it. You have to bring the prices down. It's IHOP. The whole menu should be a value.
See, here's the thing, though. There might be an infinite number of universes under the parallel universe theory, but in none of them can I imagine under capitalism, in this situation that we're in, them lowering prices. That's not the way the system works. That's not, they have all these different pressures, specifically from shareholders. If you're a publicly traded company, which a lot of capitalist businesses are, if you're publicly traded, you are legally obligated to maximize profit for your shareholders, or they can sue you. Now, granted, that's a very hard process for the shareholder to go through, and it doesn't happen that they win those court cases often, but there's still pressures from that rule alone, that law alone, that force, executives and boards to, continue pushing up prices to maximize those profits every quarter. So there might be an infinite number of universes, but under capitalism, in this exact scenario we are under none of those universes do I see a situation where they're actually going to lower prices at IHOP. That is like a pipe dream if I've ever heard one.
$20.
What they have to do, though, real solution is increasing wages. So that, and this, granted, it wouldn't work just across one industry. You'd have to do it across multiple industries. So it would give a good average increase, or increase the minimum wage, either or. But you have to increase the amount of money that people have in their fucking pockets.
And I actually hope that has found itself empty during peak business hours, but also their competitor, Denny's.
Now this right here puts a new meaning to pick whatever table you want.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. Under a successful model of capitalism, the theory goes, at least, however, competition will drive down prices and help the consumer. But in this scenario, like I've said, the contradiction is too great to pretend that capitalism can cover its own bets anymore. Meaning, you have a situation where both businesses in the competition in the industry, you have Denny's and IHOP, are both struggling. The theory would be, one might be struggling, but the other one would be booming, because they would get all the business, right? No, they're both struggling because, surprise, surprise, Mr. Keynesian economist, you didn't see the contradiction that leads to the working class not being able to afford to go out to eat.
The only one.
A nice dinner spot at Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru. Why?
And I wasn't the only one. This comment says, mind you, they also recently said their chicken won't be antibiotic free.
What?
I'm sorry, Chick-fil-A. I don't know what y'all doing to the chicken, but I can't be the only one.
Yeah,
I can't be the only one.
The best chicken.
Why the is Chick-fil-A $20? I got a chicken deluxe sandwich meal, medium, pineapple dragon fruit lemonade, a small mac and cheese on the side. Why am I paying $20?
A medium meal at Chick-fil-A is $20 Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
For a fast food meal. Why am I paying dinner minimum entry level meal at a nice dinner spot at Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru? Why?
And I wasn't the only one. This comment says, mind you, they also recently said their chicken won't be antibiotic free anymore. So why are we paying more when the quality has gone down?
Exactly. E-double-G, exactly. So, as you see, the quality is going down, but the prices are increasing. And it's not just one instance. It's across industries. Multiple industries. That's the red flag here.
With a lot of, and even the larger chain, local, way more high.
This is why people literally.
Oh my God, that's terrible. I've gotten some shit like that before. I was pissed, absolutely pissed, and they're gonna charge what, maybe $3-4 for something like that. I have no words. I have absolutely no words.
a little piece of egg and cheese in it. This is ridiculous. This is why people can't eat out.
Not only that, it just looks absolutely sad. It looks like there was no love or any effort put into this tortilla. No grill mark or nothing. It actually looks like they probably just stuck it in the microwave. And y'all comment, is that what's happening? Somebody here commented, you ordered it, and that's absolutely true. She probably didn't know this is what she was going to get, though.
Yeah, it was $3. $3 for that sad, whatever it is.
But this is what you can expect a lot of the time when you're eating out nowadays. Someone here said,
this is 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we have 3D printers that are affordable for the average consumer. We should not have a situation where you're paying $3 for a piece of turd. Like, come on. This is getting out of hand. I wonder when people will start to wake up and start to boycott all these fucking places. Because I guarantee you, if people start waking up, it will happen. They'll stop. They'll start boycotting these places and trying to, either grow their own food or get their food from other means. Because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's no wonder why, like so many people in America have, a obesity problem. It's not because we're lazy. We work harder than most modern, like industrialized nations. We have less benefits. We have less days off. Our money goes less far. But it's because the food we have is just shit. The capitalists, the business owner class, have successfully bought and paid for our government, which is another pattern. If you read Das Kapital under Marx's Das Kapital, Karl Marx, in Marxian theory, that's another pattern. If you funnel wealth to the top echelons of society, that top of society, that minority, that small group is going to, of course, buy the political system to maintain their wealth and power. Of course they will. If they can do it, they'll try. Even if they can't do it, they'll try. So it's no surprise when we have legal bribing of politicians in this country. It's kind of laughable when you look from a lens outside of this country and like from maybe France, where like when Emmanuel Macron raised the age for retirement from 60 to 65. Working, like a third of the country said, fuck no. And they got out in the yellow jackets. They all put on their yellow jackets and they got out and they said, we're not fucking working. We're stopping this economy right now until you reverse that policy. And he reversed it. I mean, I think Americans can learn a lot from France. Just saying. Because this is unacceptable. We're paying exorbitant fees for trash food that's making us sick, making us gain weight and just unhealthy overall. And it's expensive. We're paying to kill ourselves with this shit. And we have no other option because it's cheap. We can't afford good, healthy food, most of us at least. So what I recommend is that if you have a local farmer's market, and I'm going to start doing this, I have been, but I'm going to start doing it more often, is getting my fresh vegetables, my whole foods, from a local farmer's market, if you have one available. Because chances are, at least in my local farmers markets, the prices are way down compared to grocery stores. A lot lower. You get a lot more for your money. And it's fresh. It's not pumped full of preservatives and shit.
Remake. Y'all, now, are they serious? Chicken or sausage and ham and cheese omelet is $31.99. Oh my! 3 Nutella pancakes is $38.99. 3 regular day. This one maybe.
Oh my God.
The part is fun with all the way. Wow. Thing. And I've been getting a smoothie.
What kind of world are we living in right now? I'll tell you what kind of world. A world where smoothies are $20, $17 and some change.
I'll tell you what it's called. It's called late stage capitalism.
To be exact. And this isn't a Erewhon Haley Bieber smoothie. This is Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Okay?
Dude, Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Dude, $20 fucking for a smoothie? No. No. Wow. Holy shit. I remember when I used to pay about, I think it was like $7 or $8 for a large one.
Dollars and some change. Or the
Dude, that's insane. You guys are so.
Jesus
that's
Christ,
wild.
$25
but you're
for
charging us
burrito.
$7.
Like they better to stuff the cheap stuff. $38
because that's
for
disgusting.
one pizza is charged more out of control, and I 90s.
You know what I'm saying? Just pull up, you know what I'm saying?
Order. Where's the meat? About to eat.
About to eat a lunch. This is utter.
Oh yeah, the
I
catered
understand
food
that.
is bad.
Make extremely high. We try our best. We do our best, but
No. Say it. Costco
From Cisco. Cheap ingredients.
where they carry Cisco
Meatballs. I'm like,
Texas if you catering service.
2 hours.
I just they're each $1. Genius for them, bad for you.
I might not be in this video, but they did briefly talk about it. And I guess I'll just explain what's going on with the chicken. Is apparently a lot of places that manufacture, you know, and put out a lot of chicken. They're pumping their chicken with water to plump them up to look fatter. But when you actually cook it, like, it looks fine, it looks nice in the grocery store, but when you actually go to cook it or break it up, it looks and feels weird. And then you cook it and it's all like watered down, like you get a big pan of water with it and very little meat. So there are all these little dirty tricks that they're playing with our food. So we're going to move on to chapter 2. So everything we've heard about so far, the empty tables, the microwave meals, the rising prices, this is no accident, okay? This is deliberate. It's what I like to call profit through subtraction, okay? You take something people need, like food, housing, or healthcare, and slowly take it away. Smaller portions, lower wages, cheaper ingredients. You slice off quality, convenience, dignity, all in the name of growth. And when people struggle to pay for it, you raise the price of items that are still in demand to make up the difference. Look at the restaurant industry, for example. Once a cook made meals from scratch, the diner smelled of bread and life. Now, frozen trays from the same few corporations shipped nationwide. The product is identical from New York to Nebraska, stripped of its soul, stripped of the hands that made it, stripped of care. And yet the prices continue to climb. But why? Why? Well, because wages are stagnant and the system needs the money to keep profit margins high. This is the rhythm of late-stage capitalism. It's a game of subtraction disguised as efficiency. It's a game of scarcity disguised as value. It's why the burger costs $10, a Subway footlong $20 in some states, and why your paycheck never seems to grow despite working your fucking ass off. The people who work, the working class, us, the people who make the system run. We are trapped in an endless cycle. Less money, higher costs, and the illusion that we're actually participating in a fair economy. We promote the illusion, or they promote the illusion of freedom. But how much freedom can you actually have in a system that makes you pay unreasonably enormous amounts of money out of pocket for your health care? How much freedom do you actually have when education is a right reserved for those who can afford it? How free do you actually feel now knowing that America is run on a for-profit prison system that manufactures criminals to satisfy shareholder value? It's clever. It's brutal. And it works because most of us never pause to see the subtraction actually happening bite by bite, paycheck by paycheck. And this is where my frog boiling in a pot of heating water analogy comes into play. I talk about this a lot. In the working class, we are all like frogs chilling in a pot of heating water. As inflation continues to rise and wages continue to remain stagnant, The water is getting hotter and hotter. Our economy is on the verge of collapsing in a way that we've just never seen before. The real question is, are we ready to wake up and jump out of the pot? Can workers of all 50 states unite against the oppression of an industrial fascism? Only time will tell. But here's where the irony fully blooms. The system we live in, the system of capitalism, it promises balance. Capitalism promised raising wages above international competitors. It promised to tame prices. It promised to feed everybody. But in reality, wages are suppressed. Prices rise, and people are forced into debt just to survive. It's a clear back and forth, a push and pull, a simple dialectic, if you will. Keep the workers poor, raise prices to cover the gap, and exact profit from their struggle. I mean, just look around. Empty restaurants, housing we can't afford, food that costs more than it's worth. The contradictions are everywhere, screaming in your face. The system cannot last because it demands more from the people than the people can actually give. And yet, it continues pretending, bluffing, distracting with slogans and promises, while the gap between rich and poor widens. The burger analogy comes full circle now. We could have raised wages, slowed the climb of prices, given people real buying power. Instead, the system kept our pay low, forcing us to stretch every dollar we had and let prices rise anyways. The result is predictable. People struggle, profits remain high, and the cycle repeats. This is where the red pill becomes clear, though. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. Understanding this is the first step. Seeing it is the second. And the third is deciding what comes after the table has been cleared, after the illusion has been stripped away, and after you've learned to chew through the $10 bite we've all been given. We're going to take a short break here. Stay tuned for our last chapter right here on the Red Pill series.
Very smart. Some would say the smartest.
This video
the founders,
was bang on brilliant stuff.
Great guys, tremendous guys, wrote a beautiful document, but let's be honest, it's very outdated. Tremendously outdated. Almost as bad as low-flow toilets, folks. They don't flush. You know this, I know this, everybody knows this.
Right. The flushing technology is deeply inefficient. I mean, I could engineer a vacuum-powered hyperflush system, but instead here we are talking about flushing concepts. Which parts do we deorbit?
First of all, term limits. Gone. What's the point? The people love me. They want me. Have you seen the rallies? Thousands, Elon. Millions. It's practically a mandate from God.
Okay, but let's think strategically. If we dump term limits, we gotta spin it for the people, like Democracy 2. Now with more freedom, maybe say term limits are woke because they limit choices.
Genius. We call freedom forever. Let the people vote over and over and over again until they get it right, which is me. Very fair. Like a subscription model, but for elections.
Maybe we also flush the whole checks and balances thing. Too many checks, not enough balances. Very inefficient system.
I was just saying that. Checks, fake news, balance. I've already got it. I mean, have you seen my golf swing?
So, judiciary stays, or do we replace it with an AI? Maybe one that, thinks correctly?
Elon, my friend, that's why you're a visionary. A big thinker. We replace the Supreme Court with Truth GPT. No more interpretations. Just cold, hard facts. And those facts are, of course, very good for me.
Love it. But what about the First Amendment? People keep saying things. I don't like when they say things.
Well, we keep half of it. The part where we can say anything. The other half, straight into the toilet. Swirl it around. Maybe add some bleach. Like a little disinfecting cocktail.
Good. Free speech, but only for shareholders.
See? This is why America wins with us, Elon. We're cutting the red tape, making democracy as smooth as a beautiful golden flush.
Wait, if we flush too much, doesn't that kind of break the system and then we're left ruling over chaos?
Elon. That's where you're wrong. We don't break it, we fix it. Like I fixed casinos, like I fixed Twitter. I mean X, like I fixed everything. Trust me, it's going to be beautiful. The best, most American flush in history.
Okay, but if this backfires, I do have a rocket out back and in my pants. Fully reusable, rapid re-entry, and elongated for maximum efficiency, courtesy of my amazing plastic surgeon.
Elon, I gotta say, tremendous work. Many people are saying it, but let me tell you, if we're talking size, I've got the biggest constitutional amendment right here. They say it's too long, too thick, too complicated. One woman even said it's a bit crooked. I say that's what makes it great.
Well, mine's state-of-the-art, incredible efficiency, ultra lightweight but powerful, like the armored Cybertruck, but personalized for maximum insemination. And we fixed the bulletproof function as well.
Not gonna lie, I'm impressed. But as you know, size does matter. In America, she loves a guy with a huge mandate. She doesn't mind if you grab her by the profit either.
Right. And speaking of things getting wrecked, are we still flushing term limits?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest flush in history. Tremendous. Like my ratings. And apparently like your new launch system.
Got it. Term limits, free speech for shareholders, Supreme Court replaced with Truth GPT, bold moves. But if this backfires, I still have a rocket out back.
Escape plans? Love it. Very smart. But trust me, Elon, this flush is going to make America great again.
They came for our bodies, but they awakened our spirit.
Gravity is not the only thing they control.
I'm done running.
But even in the crowd, I'm still a castaway. Alienated from the airs of that adventure in disguise.
All right, welcome back to the Red Pill series. I'm your host, the Benefactor. If you haven't already, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Maybe share this with a person in your life who would appreciate it. So by now, we've seen the game play out. Prices rise, wages stagnate, and quality drops. And the system profits from the struggle of workers. But here's the trick they've perfected for decades. It's something you need to hear. It's called divide and conquer. It's literally one of the oldest tricks in history. Instead of pointing the finger at the real problem, the widening gap between labor and capital, the system convinces us to fight each other, left versus right, progressive versus conservative, urban versus rural, red versus blue, MAGA versus Antifa. The list goes on and on. And while we bicker over ideology, the handful of CEOs who own the system laugh all the way to the bank. Because at the end of the day, we have more in common with each other as workers with our everyday material struggles than we do with those same CEOs laughing. They live in a different world. Despite any surface-level ideology deviations within the working class, we are all on the same team regarding real economic power that we actually don't have. Look closer. Both sides defend the very structure that exploits them. The Democrats blame corporations while cheering minimum wage legislation that barely scratches the surface. The Republicans blame taxes, unions, and handouts while protecting the profits of a few. Both miss the same simple truth. The struggle isn't left versus right. It's labor versus capital. And the irony here is poetic. We can argue about social issues, cultural debates, even morality, while the real fight, our ability to actually live, to earn, and to eat, is quietly stolen from us. They've set up the chessboard so we're pawns, distracted, arguing over which color we are, while the king and queen stack the wealth at the top. And it works, because it feels real. The fight feels urgent. You feel like if only your side wins, justice will be done. But justice is just a word designed to keep you busy. The real argument has always been over the value of work and who keeps the reward, or what Marx liked to call the surplus value. The toil and trouble of your labor formed from the sweat of your brow. So wake up, and you see it clearly. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party aren't enemies of each other. They're both playing on the same team, funded by the same hand that owns the system, profiting, while we, the workers, squabble. Two sides of the same corrupt coin, shadowboxing each other for a good show. A good show without material substance. This has been the Red Pill series. I'm your host, the Benefactor. If you like this, please hit the like button and subscribe. Maybe share with somebody who would appreciate it. Stay tuned for more right here on BeneficenceTV.
Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world you can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice?
I want to thank you all so much for joining me this evening. Stay tuned for more.
Justice burning ears, fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise. But they call me foolish, wanting shed boys. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world you can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Chasing revolutions in the darkest nights. A dreamer with vision beneath the laughter and noise. A future so bright waiting for the right choice. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor